told us that Davion will miss the game on Saturday. Just can you talk about how his absence, how big that will be, and how much the team's gonna miss having him for Saturday?
Yeah, it definitely hurts. Davion's a really good player with a lot of talent and helps us in a lot of different aspects. Honestly, first of all, we just want him to be safe, taken care of. Like Coach said, I believe he hasn't had any symptoms. I talked to him yesterday morning. But on the basketball court, there's a lot of things that he does that helps us win basketball games. So I mean, we're just gonna have to get that from different guys. And we just really need people to step up in the role that he played and just really move forward. I mean, it's the year that we live in, or it's the way we live now. I mean, we've been affected by it a couple times, and you really just got to keep pushing forward.
Thanks, Austin.
Next, we'll go to Ryan Aber of the Oklahoman.
Yeah, Austin, sort of sticking to that line of question. What are some of the things that you feel like are most important for other guys to contribute here that Davion does? And who are some of those guys that you feel like can fill those roles?
Honestly, Davion just plays with a lot of energy and a lot of passion for the game. And I feel like we got a lot of guys that do that as well. And that'll be one of the biggest things that Alondas can step in and do, Jalen can step in and do, Vic can step in and do. Really just come with the passion that they have and really just do whatever it takes to help us win basketball games because that's what Davion does to help us.
Do the previous experiences of this team with missing key parts when Brady and Jalen went out, when you were out, things like that, help elevate the confidence of this team that y'all can battle through that?
I believe so. Like you said, we've been hit by 3 times, I think, and in those 3 stretches, you got to just find different ways to win basketball games, and I feel like that's a big thing in postseason play as well. Just grinding out wins. It don't matter how it looks at this point of the year, as long as you get the win, that's all that really matters. So, I mean, having those experiences, being down a couple guys, gives us a little bit of confidence that we can really just grind out wins.
Appreciate it, Austin.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World.
Hey, Austin, I just want to ask you about Drew Smith at Missouri. How impressed have you been with his playmaking ability? And do you see any relation in his leadership with his team and your leadership with your team?
He's a really good player. The coaching staff has kept saying that over and over again about how he affects the game. In a lot of different aspects. He can score, he can rebound, he facilitates, he plays defense. So he's really an all-around player. And then just the comparison, I feel like is really is similar with us. We do a lot of the same things, and I believe that we really just try to contribute to the team to help us get a win.
You guys are playing in Lucas Oil Stadium this weekend. Just any difference you think in playing in a non-arena, a big field like that, compared to what you guys play on a weekly basis in the Big 12 and non-conference games?
I think it's just basketball, honestly. At the end of the day, the goal's the same height, 3-point line's the same, free throw line's the same. So it's really the same thing. You grow up playing in all types of different gyms from when you're little. So I mean, it's really just basketball at the end of the day.
All right, Austin. Thanks. You have a good week. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
Next, we'll head to Josh Callaway of Sooners Wire.
Yeah, Austin, I'm just curious, now that you're there, you're in the bubble, you're in Indy, is it hard to kind of slow things down and soak in the moment, the fact that you're there, while also, I imagine you guys can't wait to play on Saturday? Is it kind of hard to focus in on what you're doing today and prepare, but also you can't wait for the game to get here on Saturday?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was in the huddle yesterday. EJ said something about game day tomorrow, and I mean, it was Tuesday and we don't play till Saturday, so it's kind of got a different feeling in that aspect. But everybody's doing the same thing, so it's probably not just us saying those things. And I know that everybody here is waiting to play, ready to play. So I mean, it's really just focusing day by day to get better and see what you can do to be successful.
Also, just bubble life in there. There's been a lot made about that this week. Some players complain about the food and stuff. Just how is that going? What's it like being in there?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is a way that we can play the NCAA tournament. So I mean, you don't have any complaints from me as long as we're getting to play. That's all that really matters. The staff, everybody that's involved in making this work, has been really incredible. Everything's honestly flow really well since we've been here. So I mean, you really just got to tip your hat to everybody that's involved that has this going on, and just like I said, tip your hat.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Jenny Carlson of the Oklahoman.
Hey, Austin. I tend to think that NCAA tournament games, the top guys have to be at their best and especially when you talk about an 8-9 matchup. Lots of times it comes down to, the good players at the top sort of having great games. What do you feel like you need to do for this team to win and advance?
I believe just do what I've done all year, honestly, and just sticking to what the coach's scheme is, and really just being a leader out there. I agree with you. I feel like everybody's best player at this point of the year steps up. So I put that on myself to go out there and just really, whatever it is in any aspect, to do what I can do to help us get a win.
I was looking a little bit at numbers, and your scoring's been fairly consistent, whether you guys win or lose, but turnovers has kind of been the thing that when you guys lose, that's where you've maybe had not as good a game. Is that a focus heading into Saturday? I had to think for a second before I said Saturday, but is that a focus for you when you think about what could be the difference making, things on Saturday?
Yeah, for sure. That's always a focus, honestly, to take care of the ball. I mean, you can't really give away possessions at this time of the year, especially, and I mean, can't really do it in any other game, but like especially this time of the year, every possession it holds so much weight. So I mean, it's been a big impact on myself just to take care of the ball and really just get a good shot every possession.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we'll head to Ryan Chapman of SI Sooners.
Hey, Austin. So you had some tournament experience back at your days at Wichita State, like the 7-10 matchup and then pushing Kentucky there. Not an 8-9 game, but it's pretty similar. Is there anything you can draw on from that, kind of talking to the guys that haven't been here before, or is it just so different that all that's kind of a wash?
Oh, that was a long time ago, and honestly, I didn't play that much. So I mean, I'd say it's a little different, but just having a little bit of experience at the same time helps. Me and Brady have both been in the tournament and in situations playing big time games. But I mean, honestly, these guys are all gamers. They're all ready at any time, and they'll take on any challenge, whatever stage it is. So, I mean, really, there's really not much to be said because we got all the confidence in them.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Eric Blum of the Columbia Tribune.
Yeah, Austin, I have a question for you about Drew Smith as well. He said he remembered playing against you when you were at Wichita State. He was at Evansville and back in the Missouri Valley days. What do you remember from those days about him and yourself, and how have you kind of both grown since then?
Grown a lot, both of us. I'd say he'd say the same as well. He made the transition to transfer to Mizzou, and I transferred as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of similarities in there. But, I mean, that was probably five years ago that we played. So I can't really remember that far back. But, I mean, he's had an amazing year this year. And his growth since then has been really special to watch.
Next, let's go to Barry Trammell of the Oklahoman.
Hey, Austin, with Davion out, you guys played a lot together, but he also sort of, you play a lot of minutes. You don't sit very much, but when you do, Davion's there to sort of take over the point. Without Davion, are you looking at potentially playing the entire game, an entire 40 minutes, and how prepared are you for that?
I'm prepared for anything. If that's what coach wants me to do, then that's what I'll do. If not, it's really whatever he says goes. I just know we got, a couple guys that can step into that role and be successful. So it's not really the point of not having another point guard, because we got a lot of guys that can handle the ball and make plays for other people. So it's really just up to coach, but I'll be prepared for whatever.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to Garen Emig of the Tulsa World.
By the way, Austin, there's an NCAA bylaw that says when you're in the tournament and you don't like the food, you tell your media guy, and it's on him to buy you whatever you want, as much as you want, whenever you want it. So, okay, make sure that you've got that understanding with Ben.
I'll for sure remember that.
Okay, seriously,
we'll
man.
run that one by compliance first, Garen.
No compliance. It's a bylaw. I've seen it before. Just do it, man.
I will.
Seriously, the situation down the stretch where you've already referenced, sort of take it upon yourself to make big plays, right, for your team. That's something you've accepted. It also puts a lot of pressure on a guy, because it could go one of two ways, right? You can either make the shots or miss, and then all of the focus is on you. Does that ever weigh on you in those situations?
No, because as a player, that's what you want. And honestly, you're not ever going to make everybody happy. Regardless of what you're doing, you could be successful and someone's not going to like what you're doing. So you really just gotta look at it in that perspective, and in that perspective of just, it's really just a team thing. Like, whatever the guys around you, the coaching staff thinks about you, then that's really it. You can't really get too deep into what everybody else thinks about you, because then it will weigh on you. Then you'll be constantly thinking about those things that don't really matter, instead of thinking about the things that do matter. So, as a player, that's what you want. And I'm all good with whatever people say about me, honestly.
Very cool. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
And then we'll close it out with Joe Benton.
Well, Austin, I was going to ask you about the kind of the outside stuff you guys were doing today. It looked like you were playing badminton with Coach Hartman. I was curious who won that match.
We didn't keep score, but I'm not losing that one.
If you could just expand a little bit more about the camaraderie of this team, and it obviously seems like the coaching staff as well, how that is. I know you've been asked this 1,000 times, but just kind of what this season overall, as you kind of get towards the end of it, what it's been like to grow closer with these guys and these coaches.
It's a different year with all the COVID and stuff. People really don't have the opportunity to be a college student, go out, hang out with a lot of different people. So really, when you hang out with someone, it's in the organization, is a teammate, a coaching staff, or coaching member. So really, just spending all the time that you have with them is become really special. You've become to know everybody on the team better than I think you would even in years previous. So it's been a really special year through all of the COVID and stuff like that. But it really just slows down everything for you, and really just puts things in perspective that you really just don't need to overlook, and really just grow relationships deeper than what you really would have. And it's taught us a lot, and it's taught us how to become closer as a team.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you.
All right, that's all we have time for today. Austin, thanks so much